Chapter 2. Life as a tug of war, and you're the rope. It wasn't all that long ago that I realized I was dying. Now, maybe it was, but I lied to myself the whole time since the discovery so I wouldn't have to face my own mortality. I lied to myself although everyone around me could see it and feel it. They could even smell it. Now, ain't that something? Death, the ultimate end-all, the most final of finals and most secret of secrets of this life, stinks. Really stinks. Then again, so does life sometimes. I guess that's what I want to tell you in these pages, that life only stinks sometimes. Between the pain and the sorrow, the losses and the fears, life is really good. Not just the kind of good of a warm summer day, though. It's the kind of good that comes after a long, cold winter night when you've had no clothes to keep you warm and no roof over your head to keep off the snow. When the sun shines down and you look up into heaven grateful for the pleasure of just feeling the warmth of a long-forgotten sun upon your face. That kind of good. It's the good that makes this life worth living, and it's found in every heartbeat on this planet at one time or another. Now, some have more and others less. Whatever they have, you'd better believe it is, without a doubt, most certainly theirs. They cling to it, to the have and the have-not of it, forsaking all else. They wrap themselves within their glory and their grime. They run from the light when they're in the shadows and run from the pain when they're bright. It's a division of souls and of living that's as tangible as the skin on the back of your hand once you start to look for it. And you'd better do just that if you want to know how to make this life a little better in the end. Me, I just figured it out too late to help me much. You, on the other hand, have got some time to work on it. Just how much is between you and your Maker, and death the taker? How's that for a wake-up call? It's between you and two strangers how long you have to make good. And they're on opposite ends of the spectrum with you stuck in the middle. One pushing, one pulling, and you just wanting to be left alone. There's God over on the left at the beginning, taking this mound of clay and shaping it, molding it, and putting it to his lips. He sucks in one great big bunch of air and whoosh, you're alive. The amount of air he gave you determining how long you'll breathe. Just like air, though, you can't see it and don't really appreciate it till it's gone. Then God shoves you into this body of flesh and bone and shackles you to a planet where you know nothing about nothing. All you know is that you've got to breathe and that you like feeling good and don't care too much for the other. To top that off, you've got to learn how to deal with other people while you're here too. Help a few, hide from a few, learn from a few while you're here just growing. Then there's death on the other end. He's got his sickle, or his scythe, depending on where you're from, and some kind of draw on you. It's like he's sharing your air, but there's only so much, and when that's gone, well, you know that you are too. And death, he's working out, just burning up your air like there's no tomorrow until suddenly there ain't. Tomorrow, that is. And that's where you'll find me. I'll be there tomorrow. Right there at the end of the line, just waiting for the final call to come. I don't know who'll be calling me, but I know I'm going to answer just the same. I'll answer for all the time I spent in this body. Most important will be how I spent it and on what. I've listened to my mother and I've listened to my father, and they each have told me the same thing. They each have said to me that today is all I've got. My reasoning then led me to say to myself, well, then what about all my yesterdays? If all I have is today, then how come I had tomorrows? I didn't see then the fault in my reasoning. My logic, no matter how sound it appeared to my inexperienced mind, was just a tad bit ineffectual. You see, I had nothing to relate their words of life to. I had nothing in my vault, my piggy bank, if you will, to relate to their all too true words. Life had a lot to teach me then. Were it not for the great reduction in my days, I'd say the same today, but my breath is coming shorter now. Death is smiling. and I am realizing the value in just this day. More so, in just this moment. So here we are, the two of us, sitting down together with my words pouring from my heart, your eyes drinking the essence of my soul like it was the breath of life. Truth be told, it will be for some. For others, who knows? Maybe they'll just laugh at me like I did at the old codgers I used to get advice from, thinking in their own way, what does he know? I've got tomorrow and I've got today too. Tomorrow will be best dealt with when it gets here. Well, have you ever tried to buy something that you wanted, but didn't have enough to get it all at once? What did you do? Did you say like some, oh, I don't want it anyway? Or like others, did you take what you had and set it aside, waiting until the time came that you could add to your meager supply of cash, that you might finally have enough one day to get what your heart said would bring you joy? Of course, if you ever got this thing, you added to your savings day to day until there was enough in your piggy bank to have your heart's desire. Well, that's life as well. We all have to admit one thing. That's that this life doesn't last forever. My one question to you now is, what are you going to have in your bank when the collector comes to count? How will you measure this life? How will you be measured? Of course, the answer, taken from this perspective, is clear. It will not be in the number of days you've collected, but in the quality, the value of the accumulated sum. If you've got 1,000 pennies, wouldn't you rather have 1,000 dimes? You would. I would. So would we all. So tell me, how do you take a penny and make a dime? Well, you feed it and watch it grow. It'll become 2, then 3, then 4, and 5. After a while, you've got nickels. And you have dimes. Now let's step into the world of the real instead of the world of the simile. Now the money, which we can all relate to, will become something else to which we can relate as astutely. Now, let's let money equal pleasure. What brings pleasure into your world? Is it candy? Cars? Drugs? Pretty people? Maybe it is. Maybe these things do bring some level of pleasure to this body. Adrenaline brings a rush with it that cannot be duplicated. Sex, the same. The same with sugar, the same with each and every kind of drug on the market. All of these and more besides provide a certain sensation that races through the body. This sensation is either one of pleasure or one of greatly reduced pain. But they all separate us from the real pleasures of life. Maybe we should back up just a little and start with a definition of life that we can take for now and expound on later. We are, after all, looking for communication about this very important subject, so we better be in agreement from the start as to our mutual understanding of the word life. According to my favorite dictionary, a Webster's 20th Century Unabridged, leather-bound and tattered, born circa 1939, the definition of life is the essential vital element, the power of living. Goes on. The sum of the actions or phenomena exhibited by a living organism, and that which makes alive or causes growth and development. It's the animating or inspiring principle, force, energy, or idea, spirit, vigor, vivacity, animation. Hence, a person or a thing regarded as a source of vigor, animation, spirit, or enjoyment. Now, I know that's quite a mouthful, but that was only a small section of the definition, and only those passages directly regarding our work here today. Life is more than just the number of days a being can claim. It is the essential, vital element, the power of living. Think about that for a moment, right now. I'll wait while you gain perspective. Life is the essential, vital element. It's the power of living. It's the sum of the actions or phenomena exhibited by a living organism. It is that which makes alive or causes growth and development. It is basically all that you know about living and all that you will ever know. 4. FOR ... Our lives lead to many others. This is certain as the day that leads to night in far and distant lands. The future of all children in times beyond our own we build, though we may never understand. Have you not been lifted by the joy in another's life? Have you not there found the freedom from your pain? Have you not then felt the power of love flow through your life like sunshine through the rain? What will be your legacy? What truth will you have shared with the other souls who traveled on your way? For this is the only question that matters in the end, and the answer's in your miracles today. Hi everybody, my name is Ron Hatton, and I am the author of A Book of Life. Now, since day one, when I finished making the book, I studied about bookbinding techniques. It was always too expensive for me to have a publisher do it for me. So what I did was decide to make my own, and the result is this. Now, this is a hand-bound copy, ribbon, paper, all of that folded by hand. And if you should like to have a copy of this for yourself or for someone you love, then all you have to do is email me at gadgetman@gadgetmangroove.com. Just watch the slide. The email address is coming. God bless y'all richly and warmly, and as always, remember to smile for a stranger today. You will both be glad you did. Bye-bye.